we're going to turn VS Code into an AI coding workstation for Jetson. That means Claude Code in VS Code, Jetson Device Agent Skills, remote SSH development, and Claude Code in the terminal. By the end, we'll be editing on the host, running on the Jetson, and using Claude Code from both places. First up, let's install Microsoft Visual Studio Code. This is the most popular coding integrated development environment for Jetson. Today we're setting up a Jetson AGX Orin 64GB with a keyboard, mouse, and monitor. It is connected to a local area network with internet access. Later, we will be connecting with a Orin Nano in a headless configuration connected to the same LAN. We'll download the ARM64 Debian install file and open up a terminal on the download directory. Then we use dpackage to install the VS Code package. Now we're ready to run code. After a brief setup session, we're ready to rock and roll. In an official JetsonHacks YouTube poll, respondents shared that Claude Code is the most popular coding agent they use by a 2-to-1 margin, so that's the one we'll use here. Up front, I'll say I don't have a favorite coding agent. Generally, I hate them all. For the purposes of this video, I am assuming that you are familiar with chatbots. Claude Code requires a paid tier. I have found that OpenAI Codex, which is another paid product for about the same price, generally provides what feels like a more generous compute budget. Codex is much more efficient in token usage, so it's difficult to tell if you get more tokens or are just using the budget more efficiently. Both Claude and OpenAI offer another tier above the lowest paid tier. What I do is use the lowest paid tier of both rather than moving up a tier. That way I can get both of them to argue with each other, which is great all-around fun. Once you sign your life away, you become a pro member, just like me. You can choose which model you prefer to use, and the amount of reasoning that you want to expend to get your answers. This is an obtuse interface to how you are spending tokens, and it will take a while to figure out how to leverage your token budget wisely. You have 5-hour limits to your token spend and weekly spend limits. This can be quite frustrating when you are working on a project. The first feature that you want to take advantage of is researching. You can think of this as a more user-friendly web search. You can ask directly for information, rather than ask for links to information like a traditional Google-type search does. You can prioritize how to perform the search. For example, people have been having trouble with Ollama and Jetpack 7.2. I can ask for a solution, paying particular attention to the Jetson forums. It shows that it is looking through not only the forums, but also different websites for a solution. After performing the search, it summarizes and presents its findings. Generally, the results are good in the sense that the answers were searched for and a LLM is good at summarizing. However, it is because the answer looks so good that people blindly trust that the correct answer has been presented.
You're far too trusty.
The smart people use this as the starting point in finding the answer they seek. References are provided. Go back and look at the source. Ask more questions. Make sure you understand fully. Remember, the LLM is built to provide answers, not the correct answer. Even though the previous answers were correct, I followed up asking when this will be fixed in Ollama. The answer is that Ollama is already fixed upstream, and instructions for installing the new version were provided. Of course, one still has to verify that answer, but it does sound promising, especially compared to previous answers. Make sure to not only research, but to verify. One of the underappreciated chatbot features is an idea called projects. Projects allow you to group chats together so that the context of your conversation becomes everything discussed in the project, not just a single chat. This couples nicely with the ability to add more information to the project in the form of files and additional notes or instructions you want the chatbot to pull from. You can think of this as a persistent memory of conversation and background information. Claude, ChatGPT, and Grok have this feature. I'm not sure about Gemini, which I'm sure has something similar but is well hidden by the usual Google interface kerfuffle. I find it particularly useful for research and writing specifications. In a pinch, you might want to use it to write a small code base in the project files. Anthropic provides an official Claude Code extension for VS Code. You can install the extension in the standard manner. For some reason, the installers always ask the question if I trust the publisher. I have always assumed this is a psyop of some sort to make me trust organizations that do not deserve my trust. By forcing me to say yes, they think I will submit. I will not. After installation, you will see configuration questions. Once installation is complete, click the Claude Code tab. Here you will be asked to connect to your Claude subscription. You will be taken to a website where you will go through the connection process. Then you can switch back to VS Code. Jetpack 7.2 introduces skills especially designed for Jetson. This includes skills for use on the Jetson itself, and skills to help with building board support packages. For a simple repository like this, I usually would just clone the repository and install it. However, this is another area where chatbots are handy. If I don't know too much about a tool or app, I can have the chatbot research and explain it to me. If I like it, then I can have the chatbot draft a prompt telling the agent to install it. Having chatbots and agents draft prompts is the first aha moment people experience working with AI. Once the prompt is generated, pass it to another AI for use. In this case, we'll hand it to Claude Code, and it will go and install Jetson Device Skills. When using coding agents, you will need to develop different mindsets for some tasks. You'll need to make sure that you experiment frequently and learn what is helpful and what is not in your experience. If you take away one thing from this video, make it this. The agent works for you. You do not work for it. Make sure you direct it and control it. If you fail to do so, the agent will go down a path from which you cannot recover. It can build slop an order of magnitude faster than you can throw it out. Time spent up front specifying and planning has a huge payback. There are a large number of device skills, all worth exploring. These skills cover not only diagnostics and memory, but also help when optimizing for model serving and container use. Make sure to read through the capabilities so you can leverage them in your development. Once the skills are installed, you can work with your Jetson in plain language. This should make it much easier to build projects and diagnose issues. About half of the Jetson developers in our poll work with their Jetson in a headless configuration. This simply means the Jetson is plugged into power and has a network connection. The most basic way to interact with the Jetson in this manner is to connect with a secure shell called SSH. To connect to the Jetson, you will need to know its IP address. On a local network, you can refer to the Jetson with its host name instead. If you do not know the address, you can look for it on your local network. A local address falls within these ranges. The Jetson must be on the same network as the machine that you are trying to connect to it from. If you are on Linux, you can use nmap to show devices on the network. If it is not installed, you can use apt to install. Figuring out network stuff is a great way to use a chatbot. There's been enough data for the models to train on that it generally gives reliable answers. We can ping the Jetson to make sure we can talk to it. Then we're ready to SSH into the Jetson. If this is the first time you're connecting with the Jetson, you will be asked to verify its authenticity. I usually say it's okay, and then type in the password. Once you're verified, you're in like Flynn. I'll open a terminal here in the host machine. One of the challenges of doing remote development on a machine with the same operating system is differentiating between the host and the target. You'll probably want to change the color of the terminal windows on one of them to help keep them straight. Now that we know we can reach the remote Jetson, we'll install a SSH extension in VS Code. This will allow us to work with code on the remote Jetson from the host. We'll first look for the Microsoft SSH extension and install it. There's a tutorial you can follow on Jetson AI Lab for this. Click Install to add the SSH extension. After the extension finishes installing, add the new Jetson host. You can use the command palette's remote SSH connect to host command. Then type in the IP address of the remote Jetson. You will have to save the configuration. Once accepted, a new window will open, which is connected to the remote. As usual, you can't have any fun without typing in the password. As with running SSH in a terminal, it's easy to confuse the VS Code windows connected to the local machine versus the remote. There is a badge in the lower left-hand corner of the window, but again, it's probably worth setting a different color theme on the remote. When you open a terminal on the remote-connected machine, it is looking at the remote machine. Let's install the Jetson Device Skills on the remote Orin Nano. Then I'll open the remote folder and preview the README file. Many developers find it more convenient to work through a terminal session with a remote machine. Another flavor of Claude Code runs in the terminal. It's easy to install. Then launch Claude, and you will go through an initial configuration session. You will also be asked to provide your subscription information. Let's look at this from another terminal. I'll SSH into the remote and launch Claude. As usual, there's a lot of questions about trust to carelessly ignore. You can use the / command to use the Jetson Device Skills, or use plain language to invoke or ask questions about them. The Claude Code terminal interface is easy to use if you're comfortable in a CLI environment. Once you get everything installed, then you're ready to start exploring. One thing I'll add before I let you go. Remember that much of what you hear and read about these tools come from varying sources of authority and experience. It is difficult to leverage expert advice without experience. At the same time, you don't want to follow the advice of people who have little or no understanding of the underlying mechanism. On this channel, we're going to concentrate on coding. That gives a little bit of a lens on the domain that's being explored. Thanks for watching.